thrilled to announce that at my direction, the United States Air Force is moving forward with the world's first sixth-generation fighter jet. Number sixth generation. Nothing in the world comes even close to it. And it'll be known as the F-47. The generals picked a title.
We've had the F-15, we have had the F-16, the F-18, the F-22, the F-35. Now we have the F-47, which sends a very direct, clear message.
Welcome back, and good evening to all of our Perseverance pioneers out there, broadcasting you live from the Dialogue Den. I am your host, as you all know me, John Zadzura. And today we're lifting the veil. We're pulling back the curtain on one of the most powerful declarations of American might in modern military history. A significant day for our military. Now listen, if you've never seen a military aircraft up close, prepare to have your mind blown. From those fragile wood and canvas Wright brother contraptions, all of those things that took some of the very first items and aircrafts of flight, from the World War II airplanes, from the World War I airplanes, from the Wright brothers plane, for all the designs that it took to get us to that point, to this futuristic juggernaut we're about to discuss in today's episode on the Perseverance Mindset podcast. The leap in technology is just mind-boggling. And trust me, if you're America's enemy, you really don't want to see one of these things flying overhead saying, oh shit, what's about to happen? That I can assure you. This isn't a defense announcement. It's a geopolitical warning flare. It's a bold rebuttal to every critic who's questioned America's resolve and America's military might. Because just weeks ago, this happened very recently, President Trump didn't just announce a new plane contract. He didn't announce a new idea. He proclaimed that the United States will build the most lethal aircraft ever created, the Boeing F-40. And for those in Beijing and Moscow and Tehran tuning in, understand this. While your fifth-generation fighters still struggle with stealth coatings and engine durability, the United States is launching a sixth-generation warplane that blends artificial intelligence, stealth, and drone integration into a flying fortress against America's enemies. Think about that. So why does that matter? Well, because while there are multiple nations operating fifth-generation jets, and again, top-of-the-line jets, no country on Earth has yet fielded a sixth-generation fighter. That ends soon, starting with the United States. So let's lay out the global playing field. We want to give some more history and the backstory of like some of the jets now, some of the top-of-the-line jets across the world. Let's run some of those figures on the cost of some of these jets and talk about their capabilities. We need a little backstory before we start talking about what the F-47 really means to the military, to the future of our military might, and for other nations and top military aircrafts across the world as well. So starting with the U.S. F-22 Raptor, the most stealthiest and most expensive fighter jet ever built at a staggering cost of $334 million. Get your checkbooks out. $34 million per aircraft. That's not a down payment. That's not a contract for a bunch of planes. That's per aircraft, $334 million. Coming in second on that is Russian Su F-57 Felon, the most agile fighter jet in the world, priced at roughly $100 to $120 million per aircraft. China's J-20 Mighty Dragon, that is the real name, stealthy, heavily armed, costs approximately $110 million. Well, get this, $110 million per unit, according to Chinese terminology, per unit. I just want to find that ironic with the financial Cold War going on. We go by units, going by tariffs, all that stuff. So even their airplanes are per unit. So I just wanted to just call that out there. So, and also wanted to call out as well that the UK, Japan, and Italy are developing a sixth-generation jet under the Global Combat air program. France, Germany, and Spain are also working on other types of aircrafts as well, working jointly on the FCAS, Future Combat Air System. But only the United States is preparing to fully deploy a fully manned, fully integrated 6th-generation aircraft with full combat capability. This is huge. This is game-changing. This is the way we're going to fight our battles in the future. This is the way we're going to fight our wars, fighting them with top-of-the-line aircraft equipment. And this F-47 is truly remarkable and groundbreaking. This is the age of invisible warfare, and the F-47 is our Excalibur, slicing through enemies and putting fear into America's enemies across the globe. Peace through strength. So I just wanted to put this on the screen as well. Like it's been announced that the contract has, been taken over. It was awarded, but people haven't really seen any plans or any kind of blueprints on what it looks like. We do have an artist rendering, however, but we do want to put that up on the screen. And as we can see it there, right there, look at that. Look at that monster. This is an artist rendering. It's not a real, again, this plane is just being built, the F-47. So that's being discussed right now. We are working on it, and the contract's just been announced. So that's all coming into the works. But look at this. Look at this massive photo with the American flag in the back. Like, look at this plane. It looks like a spaceship. Could you imagine being some of those Houthi rebels? Could you imagine being some of those pirates that were taking over American ships over the past number of years, 10, 15 years? Could you imagine just being out there doing your craziness out there on American ships, attacking ships, not being returned fire on, and you just see this F-47 come overhead, and just you hear something and boom, it's gone. You are history. There's nothing left. Before you even knew what happened, you're wiped off the face of the earth. When you just feel something's coming, just like next thing you know, shit, and you are obliterated. You are ashes. And this is the type of capabilities that this F-47 is rumored to have. And let's go on to get it into a little bit more. So let's run through how just unmatched this F-47 truly will be. This aircraft, why it's among the best, looking at the F-57 film, the most agile fighter in the world, going through some more that some nations are working on, costing roughly around 100 million to 120 million. Lockheed Martin, the F-35 Lightning, the most capable multi-role aircraft. Again, the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor, the stealthiest and most expensive jet ever built. And the Boeing F-15EX Eagle II, the most heavily armed fighter jet. General Dynamics F-16, the Falcon. Going through this list of all these other great military pieces of equipment across the world, not just within the U.S., across the world. So then we have the Eurofighter Typhoon. It's agile. It's a multi-role. It's capable of doing a lot of things. And moving on to all of these things that we're bringing up about these other aircrafts, let's get into more of what the F-47 is going to bring us. So now enter the F-47, a jet designed to not compete with these aircrafts, but to eclipse them, put everything else before the F-47 out to sunset, out to pasture, like a whole different level of this aircraft in its own right. So in March of 2025, the United States Air Force unveiled its most ambitious leap in combat aviation, the F-47. Born from the Next Generation of Air Dominance Program, or NGAD, the F-47 is the product of years of secret development, advanced simulation, and global necessity. So just think of it. This F-47 contracts being awarded, all of these products and everything that's being discussed about this plane has been talked about, secret development. And now we're to a point where we can put all those pieces together and create this deadly, lethal aircraft for the United States military. It's very exciting that our warfighters will have the capability and our pilots will have the most advanced technology out there to compete against America's enemies. God forbid we have to even use any of these aircrafts, but we will be ready, peace through strength. So now talking about that, Boeing secured the contract around all of the controversy surrounding Boeing, winning out against the rival Lockheed Martin. And with good reason. The Pentagon made it clear this wasn't about politics. This was about who could build a fighter that would dominate the skies of tomorrow today. And that's why the decision was made. Air Force Chief of Staff General called the F-47 a leap ahead platform. In a direct statement quoted from when this announcement was made, the F-47 will do what the F-22 cannot. It will provide dominance not only through stealth and speed, but with anonymous force, multiplication, and unmatched electronic warfare. We're talking about AI. Electronic warfare is right up the alley for R-47. The chief added that the NGAD platform will be able to rapidly upgrade, evolve, and adapt to future threats using modular open system architecture, a groundbreaking system. This is a fighter built not for today, but for every single tomorrow and for the next decade upon decades. Again, now let's get more into what the F-47's capabilities will be. So let's talk stealth. Every inch of the F-47 screams invisibility. We're talking about a taliless delta wing configuration that leaves no radar signature embedded in engine intakes, exhaust, cloaking. Even its weapon bays are concealed. This aircraft is going to be the most concealed and concise and lethal aircraft that the United States and the world will ever seen. Hopefully no one has to see it, but we will be ready for such instances. So the F-47 uses advanced radar absorbent materials and active electronic countermeasures to scramble enemy sensors in real time. In real time, it's not just hard to see, it's impossible to target. Talk about deadly. Now, if you're an adversary, you won't even know it's coming until you're already out of the sky, taken down, and already ejecting from your aircraft. So let's talk more about speed, range, and power, and what good is stealth if you can't reach the enemy? The F-47 answers with a blistering speed, unprecedented reach, powered by adaptive cycle engines. And this jet can cruise at supersonic speeds. Get this, supersonic speeds without afterburners, a concept known as supercruise. That means fewer heat signatures, longer range, and faster engagement. All things for a more lethal aircraft. Its operational radius, over 1,200 miles. You heard me correctly, 1,200 miles. That's a deep strike capability without the need for refueling. The battlefield just got a lot smaller and a lot more lethal. So let's talk about how the F-47 is working hand in hand with artificial intelligence and the drone swarm. But here's where things get downright futuristic. Hold the phone, Back to the Future. We have a competitor for you, and that is the F-47. F-47 doesn't fly alone. It leads a team, get this, a team of autonomous combat drones called Loyal Wingmen. Whoever designed some of these names, they come up with great names for this stuff. Loyal Wingmen, something right out of Top Gun. But who designs these names? Because they are brilliant. These drones scout, jam, surveil, and strike, all controlled by the F-47's onboard AI system. We did an entire episode on very basic, rudimentary skills and capabilities of AI with our great partner and AI expert, Diego. So we have to bring this up to our good friend Diego, because AI is not only changing the workplace, it's changing how we'll fight wars, how we'll engage in conflicts, and our military future from now into the future. This isn't just a fighter jet. It's a floating command center. One pilot, dozens of drones, perfect coordination. Even the pilot's helmet is integrated with augmented reality, displaying battlefield data and drone positions in 3D space. You're seeing it as you're flying the F-47, a literal heads-up advantage, both literally and figuratively. So let's talk about what this could mean for strategic impact and why the world should take notice. Stepping back from all that the F-47 is going to do and all the advantages it's going to give our warfighters and our military. Why does this all matter? Because while America advances, China, Russia, they're watching. They're watching. If you've ever seen the cartoons of those old cartoons like the Andy Griffin shows, where people like parents and kids would be like hopping over the fence with their nose on the fence, just like looking. So they're watching. They're watching like hawks, knowing and trying to understand what is our next move. And what they should see should terrify them. China's J-20 Mighty Dragon, it's a 5th gen, slower, less stealthy, less agile. Russia's F-7, a prototype parade piece. The F-47, it doesn't just catch up, it leapfrogs decades ahead of R&D. It is deterrence by dominance. And at a time when great power conflict looms larger than ever in America's financial Cold War and all of the other conflicts that are raging, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Hamas, during all these other power conflicts, more than ever, America's message is clear. We will own the skies if such a need should arise. We will dictate the terms, and we will defend freedom at Mach 2.5. So to our allies, sleep well, knowing that the F-47 watches overhead and is an ally to you. To our enemies and adversaries, take heed. The future has arrived, and it's flying under the radar, and you'll never see it coming. Thank you for joining the Perseverance Mindset podcast this evening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Share this episode that's with someone that would like this information on the F-47. I know this topic on military aircraft and just artificial intelligence really stews up a lot in all of our Perseverance pioneers out there. They want to know this information, such cool information, and it's such groundbreaking into the future on AI, military strategy, military equipment. This stuff is groundbreaking, revolutionary, and I want you to share it with 10 of your friends. I want you to share it on Facebook, X, YouTube, and with fellow patriots, aviation enthusiasts, and those who believe in strength through innovation. This is John Zedzura signing off of the Perseverance Mindset podcast. Stay tuned.